Today, we're going to talk about the 7 foods that you must avoid, as well as the ones that you should replace them with. When I'm at the grocery store, I'll see people putting these foods in the cart all the time, and I just want to walk up to them and tell them, don't eat that. Today, we're going to tell you why. So let's dive in with the first one. Liquid sugar, not just soda, talking about juice too. Both of these products are just as bad. They both have roughly the same amount of sugar. The juice has a little more sugar. And it is true that some of the soda out there has the high fructose corn syrup, and that's actually worse than the sugar in the fruit, but not by much. Sometimes even with orange juice, they have to concentrate. Sometimes they store it up to a year in this huge container before they ship it and reconstitute it by adding water and put it on the shelf. This stuff is like liquid candy or liquid sugar. It's not natural. It's a massive amount of refined carbohydrate and sugar, and without the protection of all the nutrients that are extracted from the fruit juice. And the fruit juice is so refined and so concentrated with sugar without nutrients like vitamins and minerals that actually help you process and digest the sugar. When you consume either a soda or a juice, you're really depleting your body of the reserves because of the amount of damage that processing that fuel goes through. If you wanted a good alternative other than just drinking water, you can do Zevia. That's real popular. It's one that I keep around the house for people that come by. I don't consume a lot of it. It's too sweet for me, but at least it doesn't have all this other crap in it. Number 2, this type of cheese right here, pasteurized cheese product. If a product has less than 51% of it cheese, they can't call it cheese. They have to call it something else. Processed cheese, cheese food, or pasteurized cheese product. In fact, in Europe, they definitely don't even use the word cheese if something doesn't have over 51% cheese. Only in America. So why would I tell you to avoid this wonderful thing, I don't know if you call it food, that will melt easily on your nachos? Well, let's take a look at the ingredients. Number 1, we have skim milk, canola oil, milk protein concentrate, modified food starch. Modified food starch is just more cornstarch, but it could be coming from another starch. And just so you know, modified food starch is sugar. Then they add some whey protein, maltodextrin, more preservatives, a tremendous amount of salt. There is 0 cheese, but they still call it a pasteurized cheese product. Amazing. They do advertise it melts better than cheddar cheese. And guess what? You don't have to refrigerate it. Wow, what does that tell you? Number 3, protein bars. Most of the protein bars out there, worse than candy bars. Even the ones that claim to be low carb, like the Atkins bars. If you ever read the ingredients, you will be shocked. And this concept of like, wow, it's a protein bar. You're getting all this protein. You're getting some protein, but you're getting a plant-based protein. It's usually soy protein isolate. Sometimes they add casein or concentrated milk protein, the cheapest type of protein you could possibly imagine. And realize that this soy protein, they process it and make it with, solvents like hexane and other chemicals. Because if you think about it, how are they going to get the isolated protein out of that soybean? The amount of sugar in these protein bars are just crazy high. With a brief scan, I found between 30 grams to 47 grams per bar. Now, that's not even counting all the hidden starches that also are sugar as well. They usually don't even use cane sugar. It's probably too expensive. They use rice syrup, tapioca syrup, corn syrup. These are just so highly processed. Many of them have the vegetable oils, which are the seed oils, which is just another common ultra-processed food ingredient. And I'm talking about in the Cliff bars, Kind bars, Luna bars, which I'm going to read off right now from the label. Protein grain blend, soy protein isolate, rolled oats, rice flour, roasted soybeans, soy flour, brown rice syrup, peanuts. Then we get some cane sugar. Wow, a little peanut butter in there, chicory fiber syrup, vegetable glycerin, peanut flour, palm kernel solids, sunflower and soybean oil, natural flavors. And it has 23 grams of carbohydrates and 12 grams of fiber. So it's very, very high in fiber. But these fibers are not like vegetable fibers. They're the junk food fibers. Beware of them, because when you consume them, you're going to bloat, you're going to have intestinal pain. It's coming from that. And then you have the Quest bar. There's one ingredient I need to mention, isomalto oligosaccharides. It's advertised as a 100% natural prebiotic. But I'll tell you right now, I don't care if it's a prebiotic, it's basically a sugar and it's going to raise your blood sugar. And then they also add sucralose, which is made from a chlorine compound. It's going to disrupt your gastrointestinal area. It's been known to increase the risk of insulin resistance. So avoid these protein bars. They're made with the cheapest ingredient. I really had a hard time finding any that I even liked. So I would recommend getting your protein. If you wanted a protein to go, bring some boiled eggs, maybe some cheese, dehydrated meat. Number 4, seed oil mayonnaise. 99% of all the mayonnaise that you see on the shelf, if you look at the ingredients, you will see the first ingredient being soy oil. Soy oil is a seed oil and it is highly processed. It goes through 10 chemical changes. They have to use solvents like hexane to extract certain things. They have to use high heats. They have to take the odor out. They have to bleach it. They have to decolorize it, degum it. And after they completely alter it, they put it in this bottle. So when you consume something like this, you are consuming something that is highly inflammatory. That's very, very heavy on the omega-6 and very low, if any, on the omega-3. Out of all of the oil that people consume in the United States, over 55% of it is in the form of soy oil. 95% of that is GMO soy. That means it's been sprayed with glyphosate, which is an herbicide. It's the most widely consumed vegetable oil in the United States and other parts of the world as well. A lot of people have an allergy to it, and they don't realize that soy is hidden in so many different foods. In one study, soy oil created more obesity and more diabetes than fructose. It also has been linked to a fatty liver. Sometimes you read the ingredients with mayonnaise and you'll see that it's olive oil mayonnaise. And then you actually read the back label and you find out most of this product is soy with just a little bit of olive oil. So you have to kind of hunt and peck for alternatives to this that I have found that don't have soy oil. These are made with avocado oil, which is so much better. You have the Primal Kitchen brand, and then you have another brand called Chosen. Number 5, sweetened and flavored yogurt. 70% of all yogurt that people buy is this sweetened flavored yogurt. And if you actually do the calculation on the back of the label, you will find there is more sugar per ounce in the sweetened flavored yogurt than there is in ice cream. And of course, if you read the label, it'll have artificial colorings, artificial flavorings. Red dye, number 40, which so many children are sensitive to. One thing you have to realize about when you consume a food high in sugar, it's going to support the pathogens in your gut. It's not going to support the friendly microbes. So here you are consuming a yogurt thinking you're getting a probiotic when in fact you're just supporting the bad guys, not the good bacteria. So this is just a gimmick to get you to think that you're getting something that's going to help your gut, and realize that a lot of these yogurts will say low fat and they just replace it with higher sugar. Sometimes it'll say real fruit, but it's like only like 1% fruit in the form of some jam that they put in there. And of course, as a thickening agent, they add cornstarch. Now, cornstarch is not going to be in the area of sugars, even though it acts like a sugar. It's going to be in the total carbohydrate as a starch, but it won't be listed as a starch. It won't say starch. But what you have to realize is that cornstarch will act like sugar. In fact, even worse than sugar on the glycemic index, it's going to just spike your sugar. And the main purpose of this cornstarch is purely a filler to add more bulk to the product. The only benefit of that yogurt is the calcium. The problem is with all that sugar, it's going to prevent you from absorbing that little bit of calcium that's now going to be nullified. So I would highly recommend to consume plain whole fat grass-fed yogurt from A2 protein cows. Okay, it's a certain type of protein. Now, I also consume organic Bulgarian yogurt. I like that. But my ideal type of yogurt is not even a yogurt. It's a kefir. I like the whole fat kefir from grass-fed cows or grass-fed sheep or goat. And then if you want to just add some berries to it, just add actual berries and blend it. It's delicious. And definitely don't give your kids the sweetened flavored yogurt. It's not going to help them. Number 6, soy protein. I already mentioned this ingredient, but I wanted to bring it up as a category because it's in so many foods. It's a very cheap protein. It's going to mess up your gut, your liver, probably because it has traces of hexane. We don't know for sure, but it's very refined, isolated product that is not natural to consume that. Not to mention being GMO. Consume real protein, meat, eggs, fish, seafood. And the last one I'm going to talk about, number 7, is the modified starches. I already mentioned this as well, but I wanted to talk about it as a category of food because it's not really even a food. It really was a byproduct of industry. Someone had this idea like, oh, let's see, I tell you what we could do? We could put this starch in the food supply, right? Because it's so cheap. And its primary goal is that it's a filler. Realize the starch is a chain of sugars, but it's not sweet, but it will definitely act like sugar. In fact, worse than sugar because it really will spike your blood sugar. The modified starches was a byproduct of the corn syrup industry as well. So if someone said, hey, let's just put this in food and create an industry around it, which they did, because now it's a $12 billion industry. An average consumer consumes 30 pounds of modified starch every single year. And there's over 50 different names to camouflage the starch. I'm not going to go through all 50, but maltodextrin, modified food starch. And to make it, you have to go through 10 chemical processes. You have to degum it, take the color out, bleach it, and the FDA allows up to 55% of it to be in a food product. But you can't go over 55%. Doritos is 53% modified starch. And yes, it will cause insulin resistance. I also noticed when I was looking at different cauliflower crust for pizza, every one of them had this modified food starch or tapioca flour or starch. It's in soups, baked goods, meats, everything. And its primary goal is to add bulk because it's just a filler. If you wanted a starch, do it like a natural starch. Butternut squash, beets, plantains, or even if you want to give a starch to your child, give them like purple or red potatoes. That's a major step up from the modified food starch.